why working out makes you better at music. And no, this is not some moral thing about you should work out for your health or something like that. I literally mean, and I'm going to explain it. I got like three main reasons. I got three main, no, I just actually wrote it down so I could remember my reasons. And it happens to be three. Okay. This is not hyper optimized. Anyways, okay, I'll just get into it. The obvious one is physical, right? So I play guitar. Let me see. Audio. Are you doing something on the audio? Okay. I was just panicking with the audio for a second. Anyways, I have a cane. Look at my cane. But now I play the guitar. Oh, wait. I have a cane for that. See that? Guitar. Anyways, this seems obvious, but it actually is something that I just didn't think about. Um, if you work out your arms, yeah, you work out your arms, try and get bigger biceps and triceps and shoulders, right? And all of that stuff, and forearms, these parts. So this is your forearm. There's a bicep. The bottom of your arm is a tricep. And the stuff that's on the sides here is your shoulders, right? And so if you build those up, the difficulty, you just have so much more muscle to work with and so much more basically that you can do in theory with your hands with playing anything. If you're a pianist, having really big forearms and being able to have the stamina to do that, you now have that. Now, that doesn't mean if you get your arms really big, the first time you pick it up, now you're super fast. You know what I mean? And you're able to play complicated things. You also kind of have to like train that and practice that. But you actually have the capacity to do that way easier. And you actually could go way farther. And like if you're trying to be fast on guitar with your right hand picking, you actually have a way easier time and you have a way higher upper limit to how fast you can get if there's just more muscles to do it. You know what I mean? You just have more motor units and maybe, okay, I don't know. I don't know the technical jargon. But if you do that, that's the obvious thing, right? For fingers, everything. It's all mostly forearms for musicians, right? Drummers, maybe you have to have triceps to slap the stick down because tricep does that. Tricep pushes your arm out at the elbow, right? And a bicep pulls it back. Anyways, so drummers might need that. Anyways, outside of that, it's mostly for everything else. It's a saxophone. It's forearms, it's fingy wings. And so, yeah, I mean, you'll see improvements. And the day after you work out, your hands will be sore. And at the beginning of your thing, it'll take longer to warm up before you start playing. But over time, like literally the next day after you're recovered or 2 days later, since you've done forearms, you'll be like, oh my God, I'm actually way better. This is way easier to play my instrument. And I've worked out a lot. I've been working out for 4, 5, almost 6 years now. But I mostly focused on my chest, actually mostly on my back, and just not my like arms and forearms. Because what you will see is some people, when they take their shirt off, they have giant arms, but they have no chest and they have no back. I always was like, well, it'd be easier to get a really big chest and back because that seems harder to me. And I could always get arms really easy after. And then I realized I was like, wait a minute, I have really good chest and back. And I'm doing all these videos in tank tops and t-shirts. And some tank tops you can see like they cut in here and you go, oh my God, that guy looks really jacked. And some shirts are tight and they make you look jacked. But most people and most outfits, if I want to look big in every outfit, this is beside the point for music. But you know, if I wanted to, you kind of want the arms. And so anyways, went on a little tangent. Having bigger muscles makes it easier to do things. That's physical number one, or 1A. And number two is cardio. If you're jogging on the treadmill or just walking on the treadmill, but a little bit of an incline, your heart, your lung capacity, your ability to breathe and sing no sound. But just in general, if you have to play a concert or play 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 50 minutes, even just on the guitar or even just on the bass, you need to have the stamina to do that. And being able to walk on the treadmill, 20 minutes a day on an incline to be slightly out of breath, they call that zone 2 cardio. The idea being that if you had to talk to someone on the phone while you're doing it, it would kind of be hard but it wouldn't be impossible. You could definitely do it. It would just be kind of annoying, right? Like sometimes when I'm on the treadmill doing zone 2, I'll be trying to do stuff on my phone or respond to comments. It's like kind of annoying because, like, okay, let me get my footing again. Okay, got it. Okay, let me get up to, okay. It's like, but it's doable. It's not like I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to remember, boom, smack it, boom, car accident. That's not happening. That's not happening. That's the kind of thing is like, you get your cardio up because if you're a singer, that's really good because it actually helps with being able to hold notes and and do all those things. You need to actually have the same way that your muscles give you the actual capacity to do things. Your lung capacity gives you more capacity to do things as a singer and easier. Not that if you didn't run, you wouldn't be able to do it. You could still train it just through singing, but it's all helpful. It really is. Now, here's the thing people don't talk about is high and low intensity music appreciation. And most people, and most of the time, they tend to listen to music that's in the middle in terms of intensity. You might be thinking, I don't know what you're talking about. See if you can see that. Yep, let's see. There's the music matrix. The idea being that you have from 0 to 11 intensity, music that's between a 4 and 7 is upbeat music. And usually for most stuff, like you're dancing, you're going out, you're at a restaurant, you're at a store, they're usually playing upbeat music, right? That's kind of in the indie punk, rock, and pop range. Anything from Taylor Swift to Weezer to like Katy Perry. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's banana, so come in, baby. Or just like, less intense rock, like Weezer, that's really catchy. Like stuff that's in that range. But when you're working out in the activity, if you're lifting heavy weights or you're doing like something really intense, like a sprint, anything where you need to have a really intense energy because your body has given out all its energy, but now psychologically you need more, you end up needing to go to the upper bound. You need to go to the 8 to 11 range right up there, right? And so that's the metal zone. And you actually figure out like, oh, wait a minute, a lot of this music isn't catchy. Like it's not at least a 7 out of 10 in terms of catchiness. And it's not rock. But I run out of songs here that I've heard them so much they don't work. They don't spike my cortisol. They don't get me amped up to go do my workout. So I need to mix in some of these music. And even though the catchiness isn't there, I gain an appreciation for different composition techniques and different things that, though usually aren't pulled off well because the metal bands get lazy, but also it's kind of hard, I do get to experience, oh, this is what a metal listener is getting out of it. And I can see how that relates to other things. Because then when you need to wind down after your workout, a very important thing of working out, is not only you do the exercises in the gym with intensity, which is the number one thing, safety, of course, but in terms of like, who how to do it at a good tempo. If you're doing a curl with a dumbbell, you curl it out. Usually, you gently get to the bottom where you're done with the exercise. You pause, and then you think about flexing the muscle to bring it back up. Put it back down. Pause. Think about flexing the muscle, right? And how do I flex the muscle? Google it. Google how to pose and how to do that, and that'll teach you how to figure out which muscle is which and how to flex it. And if you think about your exercises as, I need to start with the lowest weight possible, do that, flex the muscle, slowly add weight, like literally just be like, okay, I did this with the 5 pound. That was a little bit too easy. And you'd keep your arm down by the side, but just so it fits in camera, I'm doing it up here. Usually, you could have your arm down here. So not crazy, right? You could have your arm there. But the idea being that's kind of what you do. But you want to have that safety, yada, yada, yada. But then you really need to bring it. You do need the intensity, and that's the number one determining factor. So you need to do the exercise with intensity, and then you need to eat protein, but then you also need to sleep and relax. Cortisol and being stressed out and being hyped up, mostly being stressed out, not being hyped up, but being stressed out if you're not in the gym is going to make it so you don't build muscle and you don't have the positive things happen from the workout. It kind of cancels out the workout. So very important thing is to get hyped up and to have the high intensity music as a mood-altering drug for intra-workout, during your workout, but after your workout, and after you've eaten and showered off, you want to put on the jazz, the classical music. You want to put on slippers. You want to put on a friggin', what's the word? A robe. You want to put on a robe. Yeah, dude, you want to put on a robe and listen to classical and jazz. And so now what are you doing? Music underneath the upbeat intensity band. So if normally you and other people are listening to music, and most musicians, most of their music diet, so to speak, and what you're exposed to and what you're consuming and getting exposed to and getting inspired from and pulling things that you like from and storing them for later in your subconscious is just stuff in this very narrow band of intensity from 0 to 11. It's just the 4 to 7 range of like pop / rock / indie / punk, right? It's kind of in that zone, you know? If you're a girl, maybe that's a little bit less intense on average. And if you're a guy, maybe the distribution goes to maybe a little bit more intense on average. So more rock and punk than pop and indie, but still probably, there's overlap. Those lines kind of blur at a certain point. And chicks, maybe it's a little bit less intense, but still, generally, that seems to be the day-to-day. Now, some people just like a certain genre, or they grew up listening to a certain genre, and so they listen to all one thing or all the other. But most people end up being in the middle. And so for most people, as musicians, you will become a better musician by exercising and working out because of the music you need to listen to, high intensity during the workout and low intensity after the workout. And you learn things that you otherwise would not have learned from your type of music that you can take from both and put it together, right? That's thing number 2. Thing number 1 was the physical side. Second is the exposure to high and low intensities of music and getting to learn more. And then the third thing is you actually have to do something difficult, but not just difficult and something that you probably haven't done before. And as you're working out, you tend to try new things to keep it exciting. And as you work out longer and longer, you want to keep the excitement. And because you're doing something new, you suck at it first, and you have to learn how to get good and how to deal with things that suck. And, in that whole process, you have to grow and you gain insight. You have experiences, and that's not just you have experiences. You go on a journey and you gain insight, and you succeed and you fail, and it hurts and it sucks, and also you win and it's great. And you're sometimes not as great as you thought, and sometimes it sucks, but not as bad as you thought. And you go through all that and you gain insight, and insight gives you emotions. From insight, you have emotions, and from emotions, you have art. But maybe I have the causality wrong on that. But, you go on a journey, you mess up, you do well, you have a bunch of emotions, but you also gain insight. And from that insight and emotions and the journey, art. You never run out of art. That's the thing, is like going through everything hard in life. There's a reason the blues, they say, they got the blues from life sucking. And I don't know if I buy it that way. I think people say you need to live a little life to feel, to have something to say. But I think you need to discover something about yourself. I think you need to figure things out. I think you need to win. As silly as that might sound, I think it's the truth. I think you need to beat something. Beat a game. And all the games start in your own head and they end in your own head, right? Maybe you do things in reality, to move it from point A to point B, but it's a point in your head to another point in your head. And reality just is like a magnet. There's something like up here, right? A piece of like a metal ball, and you need to get it up this side. You got a magnet pulling through the maze on this side. That's reality in the real world, taking actions when you're moving it, but it just gets you to a different place mentally, right? And so here's the reasons why working out makes you a better musician. Physically, it's easier to be more better, more gooder, and to do more techniques and to do them more well and to be able to express the things in your head into the reality with your physical body if your physical body is more capable. There we go. You have more capability. Improved capability equals, more potential, right? And then you can manifest that potential into actually doing things you want to do, right? Cardio, endurance for live performance, but also getting takes in the studio and coming up with ideas that you otherwise couldn't play because you wouldn't have the endurance to even come up with the idea. You know what I mean, right? Then third is the high and low music empathy and intensity. You have to explore other ranges of music that you wouldn't otherwise. And you'll get inspiration from things that you otherwise wouldn't have seen, and maybe other people don't see because they don't push themselves there. They don't have to go there. They don't have to discover that. They don't have to feel that. They don't have to, put on the blasting music. And the blasting metal doesn't work at a certain point. What? Yeah. How does the absence of noise work? What autofills in your brain while you're not realizing it? To the rhythm of your breathing as you're jogging and your headphones died 30 minutes ago, right? Like, I've had that. And you go forth, you go on a journey. You struggle, you succeed, you conquer something, you win, and you have emotions, you gain insight, and from that, art. So, my name's Connor. Thanks for watching. I have a really cool cane. Got it from Goodwill. Don't know what it has to do with the outro to the video. But yeah, if you could like the video, if you liked it, let me know what you think in the comments, or just say hi in the comments. Video might show to more people if you do. So yeah, if you like the video and you want other people to see it, I guess. I don't know. You can text it to them, or you can just like, hi. You could just comment something like that. There's also like a starring thing I think YouTube's doing now. I don't know. It's like Move. Check it out. I don't know what it is. I don't even know. I see it sometimes. Maybe I should click it. I think now I'm thinking about that. Maybe a star it. I don't know. But yeah. Oh yeah, if you like music, check out my band. If you like Green Day, if you like Arctic Monkeys, you like, I don't know, like Weezer, Offspring, that kind of thing, go check out my band. Black Licorice. Check out Tell It to Me, Fun Times. You like the White Stripes, that kind of stuff, the Hives. Check that out. Yeah, Black Licorice. That's my band. Should be in the bio down below the video description. My legs are getting sore, so I'm actually this tall, but I'm getting cut off from the tumor. So I gotta bend my knees. I got to do a squat. Anyways, yeah, let me know what you want me to talk about next time. If any of these tips worked out for you, or there's any I forgot, also let me know. And yeah, I just did a video about why Superman is punk rock. Even if you all right off the bat don't think it, watch the video. I think you might. Anyways, subscribe. Because I would really appreciate it. So I'll see you, I don't know, later.